Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelly and today I'm going to talk about my foundation and concealer preferences, I guess. I've been asked by a few people how to know when to set my foundation and or concealer. So I thought I'd turn on the camera, sit down, and kind of chat about it. If you're curious about this I will have a tutorial uploaded about this look. This is this week's Two Looks Tuesday, so if you've missed it, I will link it in the cards above and also down in the description box. So if you had any questions on whether or not you should be setting your concealer and foundation, or just curious of my thoughts on why you would or should or why I do it, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and let's jump into the video. What I did is I pulled my favorite foundation and some of my favorite concealers as well as my powders. It's not everything I have. I have a problem, very well aware of it. But I did pull my favorites that I could give you a lot of like conversational thoughts on it. But when it boils down to when you should be setting, what you should be setting it with, or how you should be setting it, it's all preference. Every body is different, so every face is different as far as the skin texture and how you're prepping. Even if you use the same things as I do, our bodies are different. So this is just my routine. For reference, I am 36, almost 37. I have aging skin. I have wrinkles, crinkles, crevices. I have larger pores. I have extremely dry skin. I live in Michigan, and currently right now I think we're on the verge of spring. But pretty much we're still cold. There's still ice in my driveway, so it's still very cold, very dry. But if you have similar climate or similar skin conditions, this might kind of give you a little bit of help. One easy way to know if you should be setting with a powder is look at the finish. Read on the website or the box or the bottle, whichever. See what the finish is. If it's a matte, most people can get away with not setting it, maybe just setting in the T-zone or where you get oily, or maybe just on the cheeks if, you know, you're just worried about your cheek products going on. But most mattes don't need to be full face set with a powder. Currently in my foundation setup, my favorite go-to foundations that I do not have to set, it doesn't matter the season, I always can get away with not setting these foundations. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover. This is a pretty high coverage foundation. I don't wear it often, but it does wear really well on my dry skin, even in the winter months. I just make sure to moisturize really, really well, and a moisturizing primer underneath it, and I can wear this. I cannot set it, and everything blends on top of this very, very well. Another good one, which is another L'Oreal. It is rather new, but it is the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This is a medium coverage foundation, but it dries down absolutely beautiful. It looks like skin still. So it's not completely matte. I would say it's satin matte maybe. It doesn't look like makeup. We'll say that. And it dries down, for my skin, it dries down beautifully. And if I'm in a hurry, sometimes I will just dust on my cheeks where I am going to put powder. But if I have time to sit, this sits down just fine on its own. I can put my cheek powder products on top without any worries about it moving or anything. Another foundation I don't have to set is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. While this is one of my favorite all-time foundations, I cannot wear this in the winter, but in the summer months this wears really, really well without any powder on top. And again, all my face products that I put on top of this, it's absolutely beautiful. So in the summer, this is a really good option for me. And lately, and also what is on my face, is the Revlon Candid foundation. Spoiler alert, I can't stop using this. This one and that new L'Oreal, they're pulling ranks. We will say that they are pulling some major ranks. I don't have to set this. This dries down and it is very, very skin-like. even if I have a very moisturized face with a moisturizing primer on top, this still sets down just as fast as if I had a mattifying primer underneath it. Or today I have the Cover FX blurring primer underneath this, and it still dries down. It's exactly the same. This is really great. So this is another great option if you don't want to use powder. Let's talk about some foundations that do need powder. And I don't wear these often, but I do like them. It's because of my skin and the dry weather. I don't like to use powder too much all over my face, and these all need to be set all over my face. The It Cosmetics CC Cream. This is a great foundation. This is my second tube, and we are almost out of this. I can wear this most of the year, but it needs to be set. Or it moves and it doesn't last, and it's not great. So this needs to be set down, and like I said, I don't like to set my face with all powder because it just, sometimes it pulls too much moisture out, and then I get uncomfortable. So another one that I really, really like is the Ulta Beauty Youthful Glow Foundation. This is kind of newer to me. This does need to be set down. But I find that I have 3 of them. Out of all 3 of them, this is the one that's most comfortable, and I think it's because it's a serum-based foundation. I think the serum in this foundation really does help not dry out my skin with all the powders that I need to set it with. So that's probably the one that I would reach for the most. The Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, this is another one. I absolutely love the coverage on this one. I love the finish on it. It's very, very natural looking with a little bit of dewiness, but I have to set it. It moves around. I can get away with just setting my cheeks a lot of times, but again, this is another one that even just setting my cheeks to put my bronzer, blush, and highlighter on, it's almost like the powder pulls too much, and just it kind of, it feels very, very tight. I guess is the best way. It feels like somebody's squeezing my skin or pulling my skin. It's uncomfortable. I do like this foundation quite a bit though. Those are my favorites, go-to foundations at the moment. Let's talk concealers really quick. Concealers are very personal, and it depends on what finish you're going for. Again, I have a hard time using matte concealers because they're too drying underneath my eye, but I can use some that are kind of like more of a demi-matte and not set them. Those 3 concealers are... I only have 3 concealers that I feel comfortable enough not setting. The L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Multi-Use Concealer. This I really, really enjoy. I can get away with not setting this, and it doesn't move, it doesn't budge, it covers, it doesn't slide, it doesn't smudge. I do really enjoy this concealer. The only thing I don't like is there's 0.05 fluid ounces in this little guy, and typically there's like 0.2, and it's still the same price. So this... when you average it out, this is like a $50 concealer. And so it bums me out. But I do like this concealer. The next concealer that I don't have to set is the new Revlon Candid concealer. This is also very new to me, but I don't have to set this. I do set this if I do my full face first and I know I'm going to have fallout from the eyeshadow, or I might have fallout from the eyeshadow. I did this look today and I tested out a new palette. I do have this on. I did set my under eye because I wasn't sure. First time into this palette, I wasn't sure if I was going to have fallout, but I really wanted to wear this concealer. So I did set it. So this wears beautifully set or not set. So I really, really, really love this concealer. This might be more of a favorite than the other one, and there is 0.34 fluid ounces in this, and this is like $4 cheaper, and that's what I'm saying. This, when you average it out to like a regular concealer, this is really expensive, L'Oreal. This is really expensive. My 3 favorite Radiant concealers that I have currently, I have the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I also have the Ulta Beauty Youthful Glow Concealer. These are both medium coverage concealers. They wear pretty identical to each other. I like them both. And then I also have the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Illumination Full Coverage Concealer. I love this one better than the matte one. Is it matte? Or better than the other one that comes in a black squeezy tube, but this one is illuminating, and I'm finding as I'm aging, I don't want it shiny underneath my eyes. I want it set. Like, I don't want it dewy underneath my eyes. Am I making any sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't want it to look like wet paint, and all three of these look like wet paint underneath my eyes, so I don't like that. So I do set these ones, and that leads us into powders. Initially, I didn't think I had many powders I liked. I was anti-powder. I didn't like powder. Couldn't find powder, and I pulled out 7 powders. I don't know what happened, but we have 7 powders to talk about. One powder that I have repurchased is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. This, I feel like, is really an underrated powder. This one was my go-to for years and years. I really, really like this one for all over my face. It does pretty well underneath my eyes, but it is a loose powder, so I've always had to be really careful with a loose powder under my eyes. But for all other purposes, this is a fantastic powder. Another powder I have repurchased is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in the shade Light. I repurchased it because I broke it. But this is a pearly, almost gives the skin a dewy look, and I really, really do like this. It's very, very lightweight. I can wear this all winter long, which I really appreciate, and it does set down my makeup really, really well. This is another great, great powder, and when I pan this, I will get another one. I will always have one of these in my collection. Another really good one, if I just need to set my cheeks really quick, is the Mally Ever Poreless Face Definer. This is the purple one. It is clear. It gets quite dirty. It does come with one of these sponges that you kind of rub on there and then you just press it into your skin. I really, really like this. If you have dry skin, mature skin, this is amazing to set your makeup really quick. It also helps diffuse the pores. I've used this underneath the eyes and it's really, really great as well. And because it's a balm and you use so little of it, I don't ever see myself hitting pan on this. I've had it for quite some time. Another powder for underneath my eyes that's really great, you guys, you've seen it a lot. It's the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. This one, everybody loves a banana powder, and this one, it was the only one I've ever found that's light enough for my very, very light skin. It does have somewhat of a yellow tint to it, but it's not really yellow. It's still very almost skin tone. I mean, so this is a really, really nice banana powder if you have very light or fair skin and you haven't found one and you're like, oh, that's like straight banana on me. This is a really good one for underneath your eyes. Another one of my favorites is the Marc Jacobs Perfection Powder and Finish line. It's spendy. You do use very, very little of this, so the price is justified. I've had this for over a year, and I've barely even smoothed out the grooves, so this is a great investment if you have very, very finicky skin. I find that this really smooths over my pores, and it's so light and airy that if I really, really wanted to, I could powder my whole face with this, even in the winter, and be okay with it, but I don't, because I do have foundations that set down without a powder. If you have a foundation that does need an extra bit of coverage while being set down, the Ulta Beauty Finishing Powder Lightweight Matte Finish is really, really a nice powder. I have mine in Fair to Light. It gives the slightest color to the skin, but it does set down really well. It does wear beautifully. And the last powder I'm going to talk about is the Revlon Candid Setting Powder. Guess what I've been loving, you guys? Revlon hit it out of the park. I don't like loose powder. Out of all these powders, I have one loose powder, and it is the only one I have anymore. except this one now. And I really like this. I actually can set underneath my eye. I set underneath my eye today a concealer that really doesn't need to be set, and it's not dry, it's not crepey, it still is beautiful. It's gonna wear beautiful. This, I don't know what's going on with this line, but the entire line is amazing. We'll just say that. But this is a really great drugstore option. I'm sorry I don't have a lot of drugstore options as far as powders. I just am picky, I guess. I've tried a lot of them. The Maybelline Fit Me's okay. I've used it. I didn't repurchase it. The Coty Airspun, I actually really don't like whatsoever. I don't like the smell. I don't like the feel. I don't like it in any condition of my skin or the weather. I don't like it. I'm just not a fan of drugstore powders, I guess. In that area of my makeup collection, I am kind of a brand snob, so I apologize, but this is a really great drugstore option. I actually like this just as much as I like my Cover FX. Are they dupes? I'm not really sure. I haven't tried to compare them side by side because I don't want to. I love my Cover FX, and I'm going to leave it as a love, and this is growing on me, and I'm going to let it grow, and they're going to have their own separate places in my heart. They're not going to be compared. They're both great options. I hope this helped clear up any questions anybody had about when to set concealer or foundation, and give you some options for setting if you have dry, mature skin. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comments, or any helpful tips or tricks, absolutely share them with the community down in the comments section. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, share with your girlfriends, and I hope you subscribe. I do uploads every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!